We're up here at the Vineyard Haven Marina fishing the Oaks Bluffs tournament. We're currently sitting in 5th place overall in the standings. We have 2 second-place finishes so far. We first fished the St. Augustine tournament, had a blue marlin release from there. That was enough to get us 2nd place. And then we just wrapped up the South Jersey Yacht Sales Offshore Showdown in Cape May at the Canyon Club Resort Marina. We had a nice 120-pound yellowfin on day 1. We had a white marlin release on day 2. That was enough to secure 2nd place for points. So right now, Team Polarizer is sitting in 5th place with 6,000 points. Team Quantified right now has 10,000. We're going out to target billfish, so hopefully we can go out and find us a blue marlin or maybe a handful of white marlins. Right now, I think it's only going to take maybe 1 release to kind of bump us up to 2nd place in the standings. Hopefully we can, bump ourselves up the leaderboard and take 1st. That's the ultimate goal.
So high hopes for Team Polarizer. Also that game plan setting things up for day number 1, looking for those billfish. A white marlin on board very early on day 1 at 7:03.
That's the way to do it, Robbie. Start early, get them early, and get them on the board.
Get every white marlin worth 125 points after catching just 1 the week prior. They were probably looking forward to these waters, although they weren't familiar with these waters. Captain Bill had to get on the good old boy hotline and find out what's hot right now.
Again, when you fish this much and you fish around the world, it's not like you're doing this like a stab in the dark. You know these waters, you know what to do. Even though they're not from that area, they're well versed in that fishery.
You have a lot of water in front of you. It's good to be kind of focused on one area. And the other thing, when we had this event, is looking around. We never saw anybody around them, so they had these waters pretty much to themselves, and it paid off with like back-to-backs. I mean, they were in a mess of fish.
Yeah, it's just like you see here. This is a giant school of tunas. You've got big eyes, you've got albacore, and you've got the yellowfin mixed in there, and that's what you're looking for. And you want to be trolling through and around that all the time.
George Robinson with a nice catch there. I mean, that was a perfect situation. I mean, they might have got a championship fish. Instead, they got a big points-paying fish.
That was a very nice surprise, trolling through that big school of tuna and getting that big, giant blue marlin.
How about getting your tournament started off right, Peter? 4 whites and a blue on day 1. They still had 1 more day to fish.
Yeah, and that's coming off a tournament right before that with just 1 white for 2 days, so that's special.
Absolutely, but they would be out there and doing it again on the 2nd day. Again, they had the option of which 2 days they could fish in this 4-day tournament, but they weren't the only team out there catching fish. No mercy, the 55-foot Viking, Jeff Bierman on board, and a big fish out there with a hook in its mouth.
Nice blue marlin, hydroplaning almost across the surface, skidding out. I'm gonna call that a skidder. Hashtag skidder, trademark Ricky Bobby.
The seas were nice, weren't very rough. I know that they went out on day 1 and 2 to stay away from some of that rougher weather that was supposed to happen on day number 3. I think that was a good game plan.
Very good game plan, and they scored big.
Gypsy, another one of our teams to look for, as always.
We got Jordan Sanford on the rod there, and they've got a lunka. They're pulling in a big eye onto the deck, and that thing will prove to be something very special in the championship division.
Just like last year, they catch another big eye tuna. Unfortunately, last year it was not one of our championship fish, but Jordan Sanford, now the biggest big eye, 200. That is a beast. And Asha Chakrabarty, she held it for about a week.
Yeah. And then here we have strictly business. We got the electric man, not working the electric, using the manual. Got a swordfish and I got tail wrap. They're bringing it in. You can see they were using squid. We got a little secret there. They're using squid.
Johnny Electric, John Clark on the strictly business. With the first swordfish we've seen caught this year. Every sword worth 75 points.
That's got to feel good. He fought that for, must have been a couple hours. I mean, it seemed like a long fight. And they dropped down 1,800, 2,000 feet with a big lead, and you never know how long it's going to take. And that one looked like a little bit.
Took a bit. You saw that shipping channel out there as well, not too far away. Team Polarizer, we talked about their day 1 with 5. Well, they caught 5 billfish on day number 2 as well.
Now that's a regular, genuine spearfish. That is a long-billed spearfish.
spearfish, buddy. That's a super slam. Super slam, man. That's super slam. That's a super slam. Wow. Free work. Buddy.
You've got your grand slams and you've got your super slams. That's 4 billfish in one day, 4 different species. But this spearfish here, very unique, not common. You're not going to find these. I've never found one, to tell you the truth.
Long nose?
That is a long bill spearfish.
And that actually did not count for points because only the round scale spearfish counted for points. So that could have been an extra 125, and that would play a big factor.
This one will count, Robbie. We've got a jumbo. That is a big fish, yeah. That look big when they're holding it from that angle, but I tell you, behind the boat, that thing was actually scary.
That's T00. They put a couple of zeros behind the poundage on that one.
Putting the wheelbarrow hold on that because he's going all in on that. That's a heavy fish to hold while the boat's in gear. The fish swims off nicely, revived, oxygen through the gills. Celebration ensues on the 600-plus pounder.
So a little bit rolly out there. That was day number 3. They were only one of our featured teams to actually catch fish to that amount. But look at the standings. We talk about the one spear that did not count for points because it wasn't the right species. That could have won it for Polarizer. But instead, it's Rainmaker with a victory. They caught their first blue marlin prior to Polarizer.